Killer Smog, Story 206, Part 1. One day, not long ago, I was walking past Bubba, the faithful and under-your-feet Wiener dog's little doghouse under the stairs. Smoke was billowing out of it. I poked my head inside and saw him puffing away on a giant cigar. I told him he needed to stop smoking those nasty things. He barked that he planned to. He put the cigar out and came out carrying some old newspapers. He barked that he wanted to tell me the story about a little western Pennsylvania town where the air turned deadly one day. There was a time when polluted air was considered a good thing in the Pittsburgh area. It meant people were working, keeping a roof over their heads, clothes on their backs, and food on the table. The mighty mills were all situated in the three major river valleys, and the smoke often got trapped there. The streetlights of Pittsburgh frequently shone at noon, as the air was thick with smoke. But in late October 1948, in Donora, Pennsylvania, the air turned black with deadly consequences. Excuse me. The town of Donora is located 24 miles southeast of Pittsburgh along a horseshoe bend in the Monongahela River. It was named after John Donner, founder of the Union Steel Company, and Nora Mallon, wife of banker Andrew Mallon. A few of baseball's greatest stars were from Donora. Stan Musial and Ken Griffey Sr., whose father, Buddy, was a classmate of Musial's. Ken Griffey Jr. was also born in Donora. The city is home to the second largest cement city, where the houses are made of poured concrete. It was a dream of inventor Thomas Edison. As the final week of October 1948 began, children were excited for Halloween. They looked forward to dressing up in their homemade costumes. Fathers in the region looked forward to several big high school football games. In the mornings, the river valleys were filled with fog, which usually lifted by mid-morning. However, on Wednesday, October 27, 1948, cold air at the surface was being trapped by warm air above in what was called a temperature inversion. In downtown Pittsburgh, workers were complaining of a smell like rubber burning. Police were searching areas of the West End and North Side, looking for people burning tires. By Thursday, October 28th, the Pittsburgh Press reported that a mass of warm air was trapped from Olean, New York in the north, Detroit in the west, Altoona in the east, and Morgantown in the south. The air would be unbreathable if it weren't for the city's pollution control efforts. But in Donora, residents began complaining of difficulty breathing as the fog persisted. Most people found it was simply their asthma acting up. By Friday, October 29th, the papers reported that the fog would not be as thick and the pollution in the air would be lighter. And in Donora, excitement, despite the fog, was building for Saturday's big Monongahela Wildcats versus Donora Dragons football game. Hundreds of children participated in the annual Halloween parade on Main Street that evening. Many had difficulty making out the costumes as the smog thickened. Later that night, Donora Fire Chief John Volk and his assistant Russell Davis began delivering oxygen to homes where people were having more and more difficulty breathing. As the air worsened, Volk and Davis would return to the station, and rather than taking oxygen themselves, would take a shot of whiskey to clear their throats. End of Part 1.